It's heading in towards the goal, but it's wide from Langford with love. Champions of the Canadian Premier League, Pacific FC, denying the dynasty, doing it on the road and top of the table.
Thoroughly deserved, to be honest. With that second half performance, they were up against it first half. That second half performance, from start to finish, to be honest, the energy, the intensity, the belief that this team had, obviously culminated in that goal from Hojabrpour. The ball in from Dos Santos, the work ethic after that point against a very resilient, very team full of belief in Forge, but Pacific FC and Pamadou Ka, look at that, get across the front. I always say, get across the front man on set pieces gives you opportunities. Hojabrpour does that there, flick on, hits the target. Tristan Henry possibly could have done a bit more, but there you go, back of the net, 1-0, and well done to all of Pacific FC, because that's an incredible achievement against this Forge FC.
When Pamadou Ka took over from Michael Silberbauer in 2020, he had a mission to reshape this team's identity, take the positives and build on them, and build his culture, bring in his stars. No Marco Bustos, no problem tonight. Undermanned and up against all odds. The two-time champs who in just a couple of months will be in CONCACAF Champions League. They would not accept any excuses, and Pamadou Ka told us, Ian Hume, I don't like statistics because history is meant to be rewritten. Well, Pacific FC of Langford, British Columbia, they've rewritten history. Champions for the first time as they take the CPL final 1-0 on the road over Forge FC.
Voici le score final de ce match présenté par les Roses. À la 59e minute, par le joueur numéro 21, Alessandro Giacomo. Score final, Pacific FC. Forge FC 0.
The North Star Shield is heading west. A win for the Isle. Pacific FC are your 2021 Canadian Premier League champions. Gareth Wheeler alongside OneSoccer analyst insider Oliver Platt, Jordan Wilson from York United. It's kind of funny, the weather turned about the 58th minute. In the 59th minute, we have our match winner through 21-year-old from Burnaby, British Columbia, Alessandro Hojabrpour. It was actually a challenge that led up to it that didn't need to be made by Aliman Cisse, Dos Santos with the service, Hojabrpour the finish, and Pacific go on to win this. On the balance, is this the ending that we should have had? Were Pacific the better side here, tactically speaking, over the course of 90 minutes, Ollie?
I think they got it right. I think with the absences they had, with Bustos not being fit, with Diaz obviously being unavailable, I think the only realistic thing they could do here was dig in, hang on, try and defend really well and be solid in their structure throughout the game. And then find a goal, whether it be a set piece, a counter-attack, a mistake from Forge. I think they will always feel that there's going to be a chance or two there for them with the quality that they still have on the pitch. And that was the case. So, look, what I'll say about this is it's a shock result on the night for sure. It's a massive upset. Pacific was a big underdog here. We said that pre-game. But it is not a shock that Pacific is the team that takes the North Star Shield off of Forge, because this is a team and a club as a whole that has been building, has been growing ever since Pamadou Ka walked in the door there. He's changed the culture of that club, and I'm not surprised at all that this is the team that finally ends that dominance we've seen from Forge through the first two seasons.
Well done from Pacific FC to slay the dragon. and Forge FC, and to do it at their house is phenomenal. Now, on the day, would I say that they had a phenomenal performance? No, but guess what matters? They scored and Forge didn't, and for that they can be grateful and happy for the next year. They can hold on to that.
Well, the three-peat looked like it was in the cards. I mean, the first half, it was one-way traffic. Forge were the team that were quite clearly up on top. They just couldn't find the back of the net. It's something that plagued this team early in the season. Obviously, this is their 40th game. As the game went on, you just got the feeling, Ollie, the longer that Pacific kept things close, kept things tight, it might actually turn in their favor, and it absolutely did. They got stronger as the game went on.
Yeah, that's what the goal will do, right? Is it gave Pacific all kinds of belief that it's going to be their night, that they're a team of destiny, and for Forge, you start to wonder, you start to have doubts, and suddenly you start to feel your legs, and you start to feel the travel to Honduras and all of those different things, right? And, you know, in that second half there, Forge didn't create a lot after the goal. You know, I've never seen them look that out of ideas, that frustrated, you know, with what they're doing, and that's something we've not seen from Forge. It's a credit to Pacific again, but again, you do wonder maybe the matches have caught up with them, the travel's caught up with them, but that's what going 1-0 up will do, is it will start to plant that seed of doubt, and Pacific did it and saw it through.
They were winded, absolutely. The goal, you could see it on their face, everyone's head went down. A confident and talented Forge, I saw look defeated after the 58th minute. What a set piece, by the way. Whipped in ball, get your head on it and be brave. And I was a bit pessimistic at halftime because they weren't really playing like big boys. They didn't have the big boy pants. But they came, and after the goal, they really saw the match through. And for that, yeah, hats off to them.
It's funny, I've been working with Christian Jack for many years now. One thing that he always harps on in big games like this, set pieces matter. And it was executed to perfection. Hujabrapor, one of the standout players in this league, let's be honest, in terms of a young player being developed here in the Canadian Premier League. Hujabrapor's been the real deal. He scored one goal through his first 62 professional games, and he scores one here today. Maybe one of the most unlikely goal scorers, but he was a rock for the entire game. Had to come off, dealt with a little bit of an injury late in the game. But man, oh man, was he good, Jordan. You played against him. I mean, he has a lot of qualities. Goal scoring probably is not top of the list, but it was a great finish.
Absolutely. He can ball. You can definitely see it today. But I think to put yourself in that position, to commit, to get across your marker, put your head on it, hats off to him. And that's a goal he'll never forget.
Yeah, I'll say two things about Hujabrapor. Firstly, obviously, the goal is the highlight we'll watch. But Tristan Borges, who was pretty much directly matched up against Hujabrapor, goes off at about the hour mark, I think, yes. And he's had no influence on the game whatsoever. So that tells you how good that kid was in defensive midfield. And the second thing, I was obviously at the Island Games last season, and I got to see these teams up close and the personalities up close. And I talked to James Merriman at the end of the Island Games when Pacific had been knocked out. And I hope you won't mind me sharing this now, but he told me at that time that there were two players in the Pacific squads that he was a bit disappointed by. He felt their season hadn't really got going. You know, young players who they were expecting big things of, it didn't really happen for them in PEI. One of those players was Hujabrapor, and the way he has bounced back this season and gone from strength to strength and really kind of reignited his career, I think you can't say enough about how good he's been, and he's probably just won the U21 Player of the Year award as well.
Well, there's that. I mean, we can't understate how much of an upset this is. This is a Forge side that won back-to-back North Star Shield, 1-on-2, a wonderful run through the CONCACAF League as well. And Pacific here today without their two most productive attacking players in Bustos and Diaz, and they get the job done. Full credit to Pacific for that first half of the season. They were the top side at a little bit of a wobble, but ending strong. What a finish for Pacific FC. Let's go to our All-State, or actually our Volkswagen Changemaker moment of the match. It's not only the goal, but it's the free kick that's given up here. Completely unnecessary challenge by Cisse for me, Ollie.
Yeah, you can't do that, and it may seem innocuous at the time. Cisse doesn't need to make this tackle, and you have to be aware in those situations that just giving away a free kick like that, giving away a corner, whatever, those little details can matter, you know, particularly when you're playing against a team that's just looking for anything in terms of attacking output, anything in the final third that can get them going, can give them an opportunity on goal, obviously spending most of the time in their own half. That's just clumsy. It's unnecessary. I think Cisse, as good a player as he is, you can get at him a little bit defensively when he plays right back. I think you guys did it, Jordan, with York a few weeks ago, and it ends up being the crucial moment of the game.
Yeah, it's a silly foul, and the fact that it leads to a goal that makes you, lose the league or lose the championship, it's unfortunate. But he didn't have to leave his feet. He just has to run him out of bounds, and from a heck of a player, it's just a silly brain fart. But you wonder if that is also with them traveling as well, all those little things that add up. You know, they had a heck of a week in terms of just coming back. So all that adds. It's unfortunate, but hats off to Pacific, because to beat Forge in Hamilton is just tremendous.
It's preparation as well, right? Pacific have had 2 weeks to prepare for this game. You prepare a few set pieces. Forge, no time to do that when you get back from Honduras on Thursday, Friday, right? You haven't really got a whole lot of time to work on your free kick routines.
I think Tristan Henry could have done any better. Near post, header. I mean, it was well hit by Hujabrapor, but could the goalkeeper have done better?
It's a tough one, I think. When it's flicked on in the near post and it comes through a crowd like that, the goalkeeper has very little time to react. I don't know if I'd put that one on him.
It was whipped in. Yeah. Like, if you're hitting a ball that hard and you're coming across first post, you're going to have to do a miraculous save. Yeah. I feel like he was in a decent spot, but it's just a great header, man.
A number of different players absolutely in the running. Your Gatorade man of the match, it has to be the goal scorer, Alessandro Hujabrapor. Not only because of the goal, but I think you documented it as well, Ollie. The job that he did against this attack-minded Forge team, and it was exemplary. Excellent performance.
Yeah, him and Dixon really held the fort down in central midfield, and you know, you just look throughout this specific lineup at Hujabrapor, at McNaughton, at Taryn Campbell, Josh Hurds, Caden Chung. Like, the amount of players that have taken massive steps forward over the past year or two under Pamadukah's coaching is extraordinary. He's made changes to this group, but there's still kind of a core in place that was there in 2019 and was a bottom half team in 2019. You know, not anywhere near a team that could challenge Forge. I think the amount of internal improvement that's happened under this coach is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, you can see that they believed, and we said it before in the beginning of the game that that's what they have to do to get a win today. A little bit dead first half, but I said they really came pedal to the metal second half. And after the goal, they just really relished and grinded together.
Your all-state save of the match, and really things could have changed, and often do change going into halftime. You need to finish strong. What a chance for Kyle Becker here in the 45th minute. And it was Callum Irving, another clean sheet. And a big stop right there. That's a massive moment in the game, Ollie.
It was. I think halftime didn't come at a great time for Forge, because it felt like they were finally starting to build a bit of momentum, right? Welshman had the big chance. They worked this one with Becker. You know, maybe after 45 minutes, Pacific are feeling it in their legs a little bit when you're doing that much defending. Probably the whistle came at the wrong time for them, and they just couldn't generate that same momentum again at any point in the second half, really.
Agreed. Pacific, for me, when they come in at halftime, they feel comfortable that it's 0-0. Yeah. You know, they feel like it can only go up. And Forge, there creeps in a bit of doubt. We had so many shots on goal, but they're going over, they're going wide. We need to score. We're at home. We want to get the three-peat. All those little thoughts start to creep in. And for me, you can see that. The tire was punctured after the goal, and they never really recovered. They never replaced it.
They could have done so. It was a minute 40 seconds later where there was a double chance. Omar Brownie didn't catch it clean. Tristan Borges went over that. Like, that quick response really could have ignited something, but it just seemed like Forge was trying. They were trying to dig deep, but it never came easy for them. Was that more something that you saw from Pacific, Jordan, or were Forge their own worst enemy in this game?
Definitely Forge being their own worst enemy, because the chance that Emery Welshman has to put them away, it's like on top of the six, the header, which I've grown up playing against him my whole life, and that's a chance I know he buries. And today it just didn't roll away, and as my dad says, like, the ball is round. It rolls whatever way it wants to roll. And today it rolled for Pacific. So, yeah.
Forge will feel like they had a couple of chances there, right? It wasn't as if they were completely shut out, and that's the kind of one knock on Welshman, is that he does a lot of good things. Is he a prolific goal scorer? He's never quite been that, really.
The on-field medal ceremony is about to begin. Let's congratulate everyone watching on Vancouver Island, in Canada's West Coast. They have raised the bar in terms of supporting their club. What Dean Shillington, Rob Friend, Josh Simpson have put in place in Langford, British Columbia. it's very promising, not only for that market, but for the growth of this league. And they're being rewarded for their investment and all the hard work that they put in to establishing that club.
They're an enormous part of this league, and obviously going with the second team in Vancouver now as well. And people can say, is it a good thing to have the same ownership of two teams? But this is the group of people that are building this league. They're such an important part of this league. Same with the people in Hamilton as well. But they're doing a massive role in really building this league out.
There's the prize, the North Star Shield. Let's head to our PA announcer for the presentation ceremony.
With a medallion for an outstanding performance in today's Canadian Premier League final match.
Chers supporters, veuillez accueillir sur le podium les arbitres du match d'aujourd'hui pour la remise du médaillon de performance exemplaire durant cette finale de la 5e.
Fans, please rise and celebrate our 2021 Canadian Premier League silver medalists, Forge FC. Congratulations.
Chers supporters, veuillez accueillir avec un tonnerre de bruit le Forge FC, récipiendaire de la médaille d'argent. Félicitations.
Forge receiving their runners-up medals. Unfortunately, the weather, you see the pictures on the screen, it is absolutely turned. The rain, sleet, and hail, it's coming down sideways. You know what this team means to their fans. I think everyone across this country understands what this club has gone on to accomplish over its 3 years of existence. This is special stuff. They don't get the heroes celebration that they so richly deserve here today. But still good reason to keep their heads held high. What a season, 40 games in 162 days, Oliver Platt.
Yeah, an extraordinary season, really. If you're a fan of Forge FC right now, you got to stick with them. This is the moment where they need that support, and the first real bit of adversity that this club has faced. But I think when you look at the season that they've had, the amount of games they played, the amount of competitions they played in, the performances they put in, they've done so well in the Canadian Championship, in CONCACAF League, reaching a Canadian Premier League final as well. But in the end, they've come up empty-handed. They could have won any one of those competitions. They've ended up winning none of them. So that is something that I'm going to be really interested to see as we go into 2022. How does this club respond now? Because this year, it's been a good year on a number of levels. You can't take that away from them just because they lost tonight. But it's ended without a trophy, and that's something that could have been, very easily could have been very different.
Their face and their legacy is undeniable. They just fell short. I mean, and it's unfortunate that all of that came and unfolded in the past 4 days. Because maybe if the league was a bit different and if COVID didn't happen as well, there's all these little things that were in place that they wouldn't have to basically play such important matches in 4 days. So I mean, their unit, their base, the fact that they have 22 guys that they can interchange and use at all times, they're still the team to beat in this league. They just fell short today.
Well, let's talk Pacific FC. Look at that smile right there. Marco Bustos. You know what this means to him. And I think it speaks volumes that he's a big part of a true team in every sense of the word. Their head coach, Pamadouka, has instilled belief in this group. They are tight-knit. They are like a family. And you just wondered earlier in the season whether or not it would be sustainable. Well, look where they are now. They're the kings of the North. They come into Hamilton dealing with the conditions, only 2 games in a month. No excuses, Jordan. They went about their business, set up in a different way, and it ended up working in their favor.
They put on their big boy pants.
That's it.
That's the one.
That's it.
Put on the big boy pants. And hats off to them. Congratulations to Pacific FC.
Yeah, look, Pamadou Kard's a special guy. I know the last 18 months I've been waxing lyrical about him, and some people probably think I've been going over the top at times with how I praise him. But this guy is something else. Like he said, his team is built different in the lead up to this game. He's built different as well. Like he's a born leader. He is someone, I think, when you look at the world of football and the potential for our Canadian players to go to higher levels and our coaches to go to higher levels as well, this guy's going to go a long way. Like you do not want to put a ceiling on how far Pamadou Kard can go as a coach, because he's just someone personality-wise, coaching-wise. Again, the leadership aspect is natural to him in a way that very, very few people can say about themselves.
The West Coast of Canada, there's a proud footballing tradition. It's been a long time since there was a trophy like this going to the Pacific Northwest. I mean, Vancouver Whitecaps, 1979. I mean, this means a lot, not just for the club, but for the footballing community on Vancouver Island. Pamadou Kard went out of his way to acknowledge the 1986 World Cup team. I mean, there was a lot of island influence in that group, and this is their time to stand up and be taken notice of, and well deserved to do so.
Yeah, and they set high expectations, right? Like they went into that Vancouver Whitecaps game with the mentality of like, this is our rivalry, right? We don't care that that's MLS and people might see that as a higher league, and obviously the salaries are vastly different. Like, we want to be the top team in this province. Now, obviously, you're always going to be limited in your ability to do that because of the salary, the difference in salary, but they went out there and beat them and proved it.
Time for the North Star Shield to be lifted.
We'll now present Pacific FC with the North Star Shield.
David Clancy va maintenant remettre l'étoile du Nord au champion de la Ligue canadienne Pacific FC.
Pacific Perfection, your 2021 Canadian Premier League champions are Pacific FC. Plenty more to come from the wintry conditions here in Hamilton, Ontario, as Rob Friend, a proud owner and a champion. More post-game reaction from the Hammer. Pacific FC, they're going to be celebrating tonight, and the party will go till tomorrow on the island as well. Final score from Tim Hortons Field, Pacific FC 1, Forge 0. More coverage coming your way right here on OneSoccer. Pacific are your Canadian Premier League champions for 2021. Here are your full-time stats, brought to you by Oat Canada. Do you want to say it, Jordan? Do you want to say it?
I don't.
No?
You do it best.
Oat Canada. Oat, baby! 16 shots to 6. Look at that, 71%. It's just the quality of possession that you end up having. 19 fouls. But it was Omar Brownie who ended up getting sent off in the end for 2 cautionable offenses for Forge. A proud moment for a lot of longtime Canadian players. None more deserving than Jamar Dixon, the captain of Pacific FC. Here he is in conversation with our very own Christian Jack.
Let's get in here. I'm here with the winning captain, seconds after the final whistle. I know you're still getting all the love from your teammates, but what are you feeling right now?
Honestly, it's an amazing feeling. Amazing feeling. We've been working from day one for this. You can see how much it means to these boys. Everyone's talking about three-peat, this, that. Honestly, we're not losing final. That's what it is, baby. That's what it is. That's what it is.
You've never beat this team. It was a back-to-the-wall effort. You score on a set piece, and then defensively, you're immense in the second half. Talk to us about what it was like without the ball.
Honestly, I realized early, like, they were always going to be on me and around me. They had numbers everywhere. Hats off to them, to be honest. They were very compact. So I realized for me, I just had to stay balanced with the team. I had to offer something else. If I couldn't get on the ball, I had to be defensive and help the team in another way, which is what I did. And honestly, hats off to Ali. He got one chance. I told these guys we're going to get one chance, and we got it, and that's what happens.
I'm going to speak to you in a minute after it, but you're about to lift the North Shield, the North Star Shield, as the captain of this team. What's that going to be like for you?
Man, it's a blessing. Honestly, it's just a blessing. That's all I can say. It means so much to me.
Take it in. Congratulations, my friend.
All right, thank you.
That interview coming moments after the final whistle. Wheeler, Platt, Wilson with you. I think that Jamar Dixon is a wonderful Canadian soccer story to tell. Like so many in this country, yourself included, Jordan, it's difficult to reach the top like this. A player that played university soccer in this country, tries to carve out a professional career, represents the Ottawa Fury back in USL days, goes to Scandinavia, plays in Finland and Sweden at 32 years of age. At some point you wonder, how much longer will this go? Well, he's been able to carry on and lead a team to a domestic national championship. That's special stuff. And it's something that a lot of Canadian players can take pride in. The journey that he's gone through and what he's been able to achieve here today, it's something special.
Absolutely, and the way that he's done it. I don't know him personally, but just what he embodies when he plays the game of football, the game of soccer. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He did it today. He said it wasn't a day that he was going to get on the ball. It wasn't a sexy performance. It was going to be a lot of work, a lot of grind. And for me, him being 32 and leading the specific team and working so hard, it just shows a testament to who he is.
Yeah, he's a huge part of this, and there is a really big place in this league, I think, for veteran. We talk a lot about young players in this league, but the veterans who come back, David Edgar did it with Forge, Becker's done it, Jamar Dixon, come back, not just win titles and win matches and play football in their home country, but they are building clubs, right? He is a big part of building Pacific as a professional club in Langford, on Vancouver Island, and that is something that is going to last a long time for young Canadian players coming through the system in that area and going on to represent this team.
You need that mix.
Yeah.
You need that mix. Players to show young players the way as well. You said it, Ollie. The central midfield pairing of Dixon and Alessandro Hujabrapor were excellent in this game. And let's hear from the goal scorer himself, Hujabrapor, in conversation with KJ.
I'm here with the hero of the day, scored the winning goal, Alessandro Hujabrapor. How does this feel, man?
Oh, what a feeling, man. You do this all year for this one game, and things went our way a little bit, but that's the game. You got to get a little bit of luck, your hard work, and beautiful moment. I don't even know what to say.
Let's talk about your goal. We'll get to the team effort in a second, but the ball comes in, you head it, and it goes in. What's the feeling like?
Oh, indescribable. I don't even know what I was thinking in the moment. I just saw all my teammates there and ran to them, Those are the moments you play for. You were absolutely immense all season long, but this effort without the ball in midfield, talk to me about the collective effort to get this done today. Man, Forge is a brilliant team on the ball, so we knew at times we weren't going to have it. So we sat, we waited for our opportunity. Sometimes it's set pieces that win you games, That's the modern day football, and that's how we got it done today.
Go enjoy it, hero.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Really appreciate your support.
Hero. Not a bad title to put on your resume, right? Hero. Look, special stuff. Typically, players and teams love to stay on the field for as long as they can to celebrate a championship. Honestly, it's just us with these beautiful umbrellas out here as it's coming down sideways. Well worth the trip. Many people didn't think it could be done. Did you think it could be done? Again, Jordan, you played against both these teams. You've probably seen more Forge than you would have liked over the course of this season. But let's make no mistake, this is an upset. The script was set up for Forge to go on and win this. Did you ever think this was possible?
Truthfully, no. Like I said in the beginning of the game, it's for Forge to win. They know how to win. They have the legacy. But I said that Pacific needs to believe. And the first half, I was a bit disappointed because it was just a bit lackluster. It's okay that they wanted to sit back and kind of just see the game out and have a good be organized. But they really came out second half, and for that, like, hats off to them, because to believe and to go and slay the Dragon on their home soil, yeah, this is a night they'll never forget.
Yeah, I'd like to sit here and say I saw it coming, but I think that, you know, would do a disservice to the kind of effort they produced tonight. As much as I rate this Pacific team and have done all season for the football they played, I did not see it tonight. I really didn't. With all the way things were stacking up, I know Forge obviously have the short rest and returning from Honduras, and that was always going to be difficult. But there's a lot of factors that were playing against Pacific in this game as well. I thought they would be really in tough, and that was some performance to dig it out.
What's incredible is sometimes when you reach a championship game, like, you tear up that script, because things play out completely different. Pacific, their bread and butter all season was their attacking play. Scored more goals than any other team in the Canadian Premier League, 47 goals over the 28-game season. Today, they win by coming away with a clean sheet. Full credit to Callum Irving, his 8th clean sheet on the season. Let's hear from the Pacific FC goalkeeper in conversation with KJ.
I'm here with goalkeeper Callum Irving. Boy, oh boy, you had to be immense today as well. Some big saves, particularly in the first half. What's this feeling like for you?
It's somewhat indescribable. I'll try my best. It's a culmination of all our hard work, right? They say it every time, but it truly feels like that. This team has put a lot of work in through this whole season and over this 90 minutes, and to get rewarded for it is something really special.
It's really special, and you also just used the word team.
Yeah.
What a team effort today, no?
That's what we try and preach all season, and today we knew it was 90 minutes, and that's all that it took, and we just had to do whatever it takes to win, and I thought everybody was just immense.
When the goal goes in at the other end, how does that change your mentality at that point? Because you had a bit of a back-to-the-wall moment in the first half. What's the feeling like when you go up a goal?
I think it's gives you a bit of confidence in what you're doing, right? Everything's a little edgy at 0-0, but at 1-0 you have that little bit more belief, that little bit more confidence, and I think it showed in how we defended and how we played.
You deserve this. Final comment. The people at home, a lot of fans couldn't make it across country, but they've been with you all season long. You come here in the home of the champions and you do it for the island. What does that mean for you?
It means everything. Our fans are unbelievable. They're singing behind my goal every game and coming out to support us, rain or shine. And I know it's been a tough year for them, and we felt the support from home. We saw their messages before we played today, and they make all the difference. So this one's for you.
That word on your hat, champion, stays forever. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Purple and proud, indeed. We'll be back here at Tim Hortons Field on January 30th. What the weather's going to be like that night? Oh boy. If this is like the appetizer, maybe the full course meal plays in on January 30th. We'll see. Canada, United States. We at OneSoccer, your home for Canada on the quest for Qatar. Coming up after the break as Pacific celebrates, questions will be asked. What went wrong for Forge? We'll try to answer them. You're going to hear from Kyle Becker and head coach of Forge, Bobby Smirniotis, next. Pacific champions of Canada for 2021. Your championship-winning goal in the 59th minute. Javrapor, the hero. Let's hear from the losing side now. It's Bobby Smirniotis and Kyle Becker behind the podium for some post-match coverage.
And maybe for Kyle, it's probably tough right now, but when you look back at this season, just how do you think you'll assess it and remember?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the whole scope, the whole picture, it's still, as Bobby said, we have a ton to be proud of. I mean, getting into Champions League as a CPL team is no easy feat, so that's something we have to be proud of. That's something that the league needs to be proud of. I mean, it's a testament to the talent across the league, across every single team, and we're proud to represent the CPL in that competition. But obviously, it still sucks to lose this final. When you have 90 minutes of football, it comes down to moments, and credit to them. They had a game plan, they stuck to it. They had that desire, that will to push through, and it's a set piece. So it's exactly as we said, credit to them. It's fantastic. It's for us. It's difficult, but as you said, in the course of a season, we still achieved so much as a club.
James Grossi, Bobby, you touched on this a little bit, but what are some of the psychological elements that play into when a team sits back like that and you guys are trying to find a way in?
Yeah, I think you stick to football. Pass, pass, pass. And I think that's what we did. We passed, we passed, we passed. We got into zones. We created opportunities. We had cutbacks in the box, balls crossed, them blocking shots with shoulders, heads, backs, different things. And that's what you get when you have a team that's sitting very low. You have to find that one moment to crack that line, and I think we found those moments. The ball just didn't go into the back of the net, and that's going to occur. You're going to have those situations where a team sits back and you don't create. I think today we've created opportunities. We've created sequences on the field. In the first half, I thought we were excellent, and the same thing in the second. Again, the game changes after that goal. It comes from a time in the game where we're still on the front foot, we're still going forward, and then you have to chase the game. But I think it was something that we were prepared for. It was something that we had thought of. This isn't our first final, and we've also done that in a final game in a very tricky field a couple of years ago. So we know it was something that they probably were going to come out and do, and we were prepared for it. And if you look at the majority of the game, I think our team did excellent. On another day maybe we've scored, and it's a little bit different, but that's football, and it's a game of margins. And today the margin went the other way.
Hey Bobby, Tom Snuff here. We spoke last week with you, and you said the resilience of this team. This side has played over 40 matches this year. Did that match fitness play into this final? Because obviously you were traveling and you came into Hamilton on Thursday.
Yeah, I don't know fitness. Fitness is it's a very general word. I think we're a fit team and we can play, and it showed out there, and we had that. Does travel and all these things play a role? Of course. I always said it was going to be an interesting storyline on the day. You have one team that's got 2 weeks off, and you can say they're well rested, or you can say they're rusty. It depends how the game goes. So today you'll say they're well rested after the game. If it had gone the other way, we'd say they're rusty. If we had won, we'd say, it's has nothing to do with physical conditioning. So it's an easy thing to use. Yeah, of course. When you're traveling 12 hours to get back from Central America, less than 72 hours away, it plays a toll on the team. But it's something we're used to. It's not something that I'm looking at today and saying, okay, that's one of the reasons. Why? Because we stepped on the field and we played football. From the first to the 90th minute, we stepped on the ball and we played. Could we have been sharper? Maybe that's a little bit a consequence of what we had on Wednesday and traveling back from CONCACAF League. But then again, I'd never change that. I wouldn't switch one for the other either way. So, again, our guys have done a fantastic job. This 40 games over this time period. I hope no other CPL team has to do it in another season in the time period we have. In a bigger picture than football, because then that means we're a little bit back to normal. We're playing a full season. There's no bubbles. There's no quarantines, and there's none of that stuff going on. So I hope we've done this once, and it won't be done again in the short period that we've done. Hopefully, CPL team, whether it's us or somebody else, can repeat playing so many games in the future with Champions League and different competitions that come along.
Hi, Bobby. Eduardo from Spanish World Network. Do you think, and many people have said that the climate has to do a lot with it when it comes to soccer, playing in sub-zero temperatures. Do you think that affected a little bit of the tempo of the game for you guys?
I think for us, our tempo was actually pretty good. It's something obviously that we're used to. This is our home over the last few weeks or so. We've played some games in these temperatures, and we've done an excellent job going back to last week in CONCACAF League, earlier in the season, in some big games with CF Montreal and Santos de Guapiles from Chile. So I think it's something that can play a role, but I think if you look at the game overall and you take away what the end result was, you'll see a team that went out there and played a lot of football. So I don't think the weather or the fitness or anything played a role in that. The guys stepped on the field and they went. Could we have executed a little bit better? Of course, then we'd be talking about something different. But from a football perspective, we went out there and we played our game.
For both of you, looking back at the 21 season, it has been a very successful season. 40 games, CONCACAF Champions League. It's interesting to see what Forge has been able to move forward. Where do you go from here, and how do you recoup?
Yeah, where do we go? I'll start, Bex. Where do we go from here? We take a deep breath, we hold that breath, we relax for a bit, and yeah, just like we've been doing over these past few years, is we're going to be doing it a lot longer and in a shorter turnaround than most teams in this league. You know, we'll play again on February 15th. I think most teams will open up training camp in March. So do the math. Forge is going to start again sooner than everyone. Obviously, next year we have coming up quickly Champions League, and it doesn't matter who you put in front of us. We're going to take this competition very seriously and try and make sure that we're making steps in that competition. Obviously, for the first time, we won't compete in CONCACAF League next year. But you know, beyond everything we've done in that organization, we've also done something else that's helps the CPL. It's teams won't, or Pacific won't play in that first round of CONCACAF League next year, with us gaining, I believe it's the third most points over the last 3 seasons in CONCACAF League, and I think that's another big thing that we've left out of that whole scenario that we've been involved in. When you look at the CONCACAF League, we've brought Canada to spot into a higher grade, into a higher pool, which gets you out of that. And we also look at you know, the history of CONCACAF League, and I know it has nothing to do with today, but it's something to bring up over the history of CONCACAF League, and the competition is all of 8-9 years old. I believe we've amassed the most amount of points in that competition in 3 years. So that's all important. And why? Because I've always said it, you know, we've done it for 3 years. At some point it's going to be somebody else, and I think that gives everyone the confidence to go in there and compete and keep on pushing the levels up for our league all the way around.
Good stuff with Bobby Smirniotis and Kyle Becker. Wheeler, Platt, Wilson with you. Speaking about the CONCACAF League, well, that's going to be an extra bonus for the 2022 season for Pacific FC. They'll be competing in the CONCACAF League. Forge stepping up to the CONCACAF Champions League come February. You can watch all those games right here on OneSoccer. Look, this team, this Forge side, was very confident coming into this game. There's no doubt about that. But there's always a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Were they tiptoeing that line, in your opinion, Jordan?
They tiptoed it today. I said in the beginning of the match that they were confident that they would get the win. But as the match went on, there was a bit of arrogance, in my opinion, only because you got to work hard to win. Pacific did that today. And with Forge, they expected to win. And you got to play every match. It's 0-0. You got to go and give all that you have. And for me, I don't think Forge did enough today to be champions.
Yeah, I think there comes a point where when you've been so dominant in the league, you know, eventually there was always going to be a team that caught up to Forge and did beat them. And I don't know if you see it coming, right? If you're Forge, like, you've lost the 2 competitions you've gone out of, the Canadian Championship and the CONCACAF League, which theoretically give you a higher standard of play because you're playing against MLS teams, you're playing against the best the region has to offer. They didn't actually lose those games, right? They drew against Montreal, lost on penalties, and they drew twice against Motagua and went out on away goals. So maybe there's a bit of a sense in the group that, you know, is anyone in the Canadian Premier League really going to get the better of us if those 2 teams haven't? And it just kind of creeps up on you, right? A team like Pacific comes out and suddenly they're right there with you. And I don't know if you necessarily can see that coming when you've been as dominant as Forge have been. Something that happened in that Montreal game, second leg against Motagua, here again today, Forge didn't score a goal. Yeah. With Babuli, Welshman, Brownie, Borges in the team, you expect them to score goals. Pacific did a wonderful job defensively and deserved to go on to win this year's Canadian Premier League title. We'll turn the focus back to Pacific next. Some of their unsung heroes, will shine the spotlight on them. And what about their manager, Pamadou Ka? Is he a lock for the Canadian Premier League Head Coach of the Year? All that next. Here are your full-time stats brought to you by Out Canada. Jordan Wilson, I'll give you one more chance.
Can't do it, man.
Ollie, you're my boy.
I am staying well away from that, Wheels. That's all you.
Out Canada. Oh, baby! I'd sell it more. I am just so wet right now. You should see the conditions that we're working in here. Only in this country, right? Like, I think I'd prefer the Azteca, Edmonton right now, to what we're experiencing. We're soaking wet. They're soaking wet because champagne is being sprayed everywhere inside underneath where we'll be going to in a few moments' time. Wheeler, Platt, Wilson with you. Pacific go on to defeat Forge. 1-0 was the final. I want to talk about their manager, Pamadou Ka, as we take a look inside as the festivities are well underway. So Pamadou Ka is one of the 3 finalists for Coach of the Year in the Canadian Premier League. What a guy, what a leader. I think this country has really fallen in love with him. I'd say that he's a lock for the head coach of the year, but the 2 previous years, the runner-up for the North Star Shield, Ollie, has gone on to win coach of the year. So Tommy Wheeldon Jr. and Stephen Hart back-to-back. So perhaps it's Bobby Smiriotis' time if we're going to follow that trend. But you can absolutely make the case for Pamadou Ka and the job that he's done this season.
Yeah, I think he wins it. Look, it's obvious, it's absolutely ludicrous that Bobby Smiriotis has not won the Coach of the Year award yet after winning 2 titles and doing what he's done in the Canadian Premier League. But you can't judge this season's award based on the fact that that's a bit ridiculous, right? You have to be fair to all of the candidates involved this year, judge this year on its own merits, and I can't look past Pamadou Ka. You know, what he's done to grow this team, to take this team from where they were last season, where, you know, they made the playoffs and made a lot of improvements, but they clearly weren't there yet in terms of being a real contender to win it. To take that next step within the space of 1 season, to beat Forge in their own backyard and win a championship, I don't see how you can look past him.
His coaching style, his attitude, it's one word for me. It's infectious.
Yeah.
You can see that was a unit. 22 guys, 18 guys, or 15, whatever that subbed in today, that were just ready to win, ready to work. And I think for that, like, it's deserved, because obviously Forge had a unit and they're established team. But yeah, they came in and balled today and really worked harder than them and got the job done. Like, throughout the season, they've been consistent, and they've been competing, and they've played an entertaining brand of football, and he's the man behind it.
The togetherness stuff, that is absolutely something. When I was chatting with him yesterday at the media day, he mentioned to me that they kept their training sessions the exact same all season long, so there was no variance despite having that 15-day layoff between games. And it was just about replicating the intensity on a regular basis. I found that really interesting, because typically coaches, like, you know, they will alter or change things for the moment, but for him, these 2 weeks, other than having to travel the great distance that you do in this league, everything kind of stayed consistent. I found that really interesting. Just want to give a shout out to your former head coach, York United. Jim Brennan should have been part of that final 3. I don't know who's coming up with the list, but the work that he did with your team this year is worthwhile to give him a shout out. Let's hear from Josh Hurd. What a season, man. Like, he was standout in the Canadian in that win over Vancouver Whitecaps, consistent as can be all season long. Here is Josh Hurd, and we're going to hear from him. He caught up with Christian Jack after the final whistle.
I'm here with Josh Hurd, seconds after winning this. What's it mean to you?
Everything, man. We've been working so hard since February, and you can see, man, we grinded, and if this is what it's all about. We won it. It feels great.
A team effort, no? In every way. Does that mean it even more special?
It means every more special, man. You can see we all fought. All of us together as a collective unit. That's what it's about. We're going to go enjoy this now.
You should enjoy it. One final thing. You'd never beaten this team. You had to come across country to beat the team that was 2-time champions. How sweet is that?
It's perfect. We were due for it, right? It's a perfect story. So, yeah, I mean, just go celebrate. I'm a loss for words a little bit, but thanks for everything, yeah.
We appreciate all the words you found. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
A sneak peek as he caught up with, well, it was a big move to Pacific. Here's Manny Aparicio after the full-time whistle.
Come on in with me. Manny Aparicio in here, sipping the champagne. Just take a little sip of it again. What does that feel like, my man?
Oh, amazing. Like, it's been 8 years as a pro, never in this moment. 3 years in the league, this is what I made the move for. Just amazing.
I think he deserves a drink. You never stop running the whole game. I think you at least deserve a drink. Celebrating like this with your boys, what does it feel like?
Oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. We know this is what we started the season for. This was our goal, and we achieved it. We grinded that game out. We gave it all we had, and we got the result.
Thanks, Manny.
No problem. Thank you.
They're going to have a good time tonight. I like how they have the goggles. Like, I don't know if I want a wetsuit or a snowsuit.
Even more. So happy for that guy, Manny Aparicio, because there's few players in this league who care more or more passionate about playing in this league, playing in Canadian soccer. First two seasons didn't go the way you wanted, and I'm really happy to see that.
Got 10 seconds, Jordan.
Have to respect a team like Pacific who just grind and went to bat for each other. And as I said many times already, hats off to you guys. Well deserved.
Jordan, you can be part of our team any day of the week. Outstanding job. On loan from York United, by the way. We'll see you in 2022. Maybe I'll be calling Jordan Wilson.
I will be in the final next year, baby.
Woo.
Love to hear
I like that as a guarantee. On behalf of Jordan and Ollie, I'm Wheels. The North Star Shield is going west. Pacific FC are your 2021 Canadian Premier League champion.